It is time to dive in to Grand Line review for the Sky Island Saga in 8 minutes. Let's do this.
And welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece, and more specifically, sagas in minutes. The series that aims to equip you with the basic knowledge to leap into the wilderness of One Piece. And today, we'll be going on an adventure into the great unknown of the heavens in order to defeat a god as we break down the Sky Island Saga. Sky Island is the third saga in the series, consisting of a mere 2 arcs.
I do not remember that fucking face of Chopper, dude.
It picks up immediately after the events of Alabasta, which saw the Straw Hats leave their friend Nefertari Vivi behind. However, in a bit of a twist, Miss All Sunday, real name Nico Robin, appears aboard the Straw Hat ship having stowed away, and makes an outrageous demand to Luffy that she join the crew. Robin's reasoning for this is that she was saved against her wishes on Alabasta, and so her newfound life is now Luffy's responsibility.
I'm actually really excited
Even more surprisingly, Luffy
to get to his Enies Lobby one. That's the problem. I have like Enies Lobby is just, I still go back and forth. I still don't know if I can't decide if I like Enies Lobby more than Marineford. Like I can't. I keep going back and forth.
As it turns out, Robin has a dream as well to find.
You skipped this arc? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Poneglyph and discover the true history of the world. And despite
Sucks you missed a fantastic arc.
Gradually wins over the Straw Hats one by one and settles into the role of crew archaeologist. Very handy because at this point a gigantic ship.
I honestly can't even lie. Out of like the core arcs, this actually is like one of my least favorites. I did enjoy it, but like out of the core arcs, and like I'm not talking about like Little Garden or like the little tiny arcs, this is definitely one of my least favorites for sure.
Falls from the sky, and Robin explains that their log pose has now been captured by the magnetic field of a sky island.
But I will agree, it is very, very important to the story.
And so their next adventure is set. The only problem is how to get up there. This leads Luffy and the Straw Hats to land on the island of Jaya, where they meet a man by the name of Mont Blanc Cricket, an ancestor of Mont Blanc Noland, a famous figure of North Blue, known in the modern day as Elia Noland. Cricket had been living on Jaya for years now, searching for the city of gold that his ancestor claimed existed. And as it so happens, Noland also spoke of Sky Islands. So Cricket informed them of the only way he knew how to reach one, which is by riding the extraordinarily dangerous burst of water known as the Knock-Up Stream. Meanwhile, on Greater Jaya, we have a couple of other factions at play. The first of which is the Bellamy Pirates, led by Bellamy the Hyena, a man with a bounty of 55 million berries. However, after beating up Cricket
that punch was so good.
Confronts him directly.
That punch was so good.
But a single punch. At the same time, a mysterious man who enjoys cherry pies makes his presence known on Jaya,
and after
learning of Luffy's bounty, decides to pursue the Straw Hats. Luckily, the Straw Hats manage to escape this man and his crew by riding the Knock-Up Stream and embarking on their adventure into the sky. It is then revealed that their pursuers were the Blackbeard Pirates, who quite notably were the crew who sacked Chopper's home of Drum Island, as well as being the group sought after by Luffy's brother, Ace. And should the Straw Hats have been caught by them, it would have almost certainly ended in their complete defeat, if not demise.
That is a really good point.
In the world, Luffy's defeat of Sir Crocodile on Alabasta has caused some incredibly big waves, as a meeting is convened at the Holy Land of Marijois in order to decide who will replace Crocodile as one of the 7 warlords.
Yo, Mizuto, thank you for the 3 months, dude.
Gorosei, also known as the 5 Elder Stars, who are the ruling faction of the world government. However, heading up this meeting is the Fleet Admiral of the Marines, Sengoku, and 3 other warlords of the sea are present, including the world's greatest swordsman, Draco Mihawk, as well as 2 new figures in Bartholomew Kuma and Don Quixote Doflamingo, both of whom are presented as wildly powerful figures with bounties of 296 million and 340 million respectively. The meeting is intruded upon, however, by an enigmatic figure who
I know this is a while. Damn, that's so it's actually, dude, every time this gets brought up, it blows my mind that Luffy's bounty is 400,000 berries. Like, of course, if they reached out to, like, if they did reach out to Luffy and offer him warlord status, like, he would 100% tell them to go fuck themselves. But just, like, knowing that all of these people got asked to be a warlord with bounties of like 300,000, maybe 400, you know what I mean? Like some at 200,000. The fact that like Luffy, like it hasn't even been a discussion is crazy. Blue Dragonfly, thank you for the 6 months. Let's continue.
Was identified as Lafitte, a banished sheriff from West Blue known for his brutality, who has come to suggest a candidate for the warlord position. Elsewhere in the Grand Line, we are also introduced to the strongest man in the world, Edward Newgate, who captains the Whitebeard Pirates and refuses a letter from a member of the Red Hair Pirates, claiming that if Shanks wants to talk to him, then he needs to do so in person. And as such, Shanks makes the decision to set sail and meet Whitebeard. But that is a story for not now. Catching up with the Straw Hats.
I wonder what Shanks's bounty would be if he like got a bounty. I'm assuming he doesn't have a bounty. Maybe he does. I don't know if the 4 emperors get bounties. Don't answer this question. If anybody answers this question, Bubble, just ban their ass. But like, I actually wonder what it would be. It's got to be massive.
With the Sky Knight named Garn.
Same thing with Whitebeard. Like Whitebeard got to have a fucking crazy ass thing, dude.
Pagaya and Konus, who demonstrate and explain some sky technology to them. Using one of their funky devices known as a waver, Nami sets out alone to explore the sky,
throwable with 1,000 biddies!
And witnessing the power of the chief antagonist of the saga, God Enel. Enel is a citizen of another sky island who had eaten a devil fruit known as the Goro Goro no Mi, a Logia-type fruit that allows him to conjure, manipulate, and become electricity. Furthermore, he also possesses an ability known as Mantra, which allows him to
Enel was actually a pretty good villain, I'm not gonna lie.
Overwhelming power and omniscience, which for all intents and purposes does allow him to label himself as a god. The Straw Hats are eventually split up, with Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp facing off against and defeating one of Enel's priests, Satori, who he really likes balls. Meanwhile, the other Straw Hats come to the startling conclusion that Upper Yard was actually a part of Jaya.
Yeah, his devil fruit power is OP.
Shot up into the air via the knock-up stream, and may be where Lion Noland's legendary City of Gold resides. And so, after reuniting, the crew hatch a plan to find it, but end up embroiled in a death game.
I mean, if it wasn't for Luffy's devil fruit power, like, they would have gotten wrecked.
Viper, who are fighting Enel's forces to reclaim their homeland. During this game, 2 more of Enel's priests are beaten, one by the hands of Tony Chopper, and the other by the swords of Zoro. Furthermore, the leader of Enel's militia is convincingly beaten by our newest Straw Hat, Nico Robin. As the game comes to its climax, only 6 individuals remain conscious. The former god of Skypiea, Gone Full, the leader of the Shandian
Skypiea,
Roronoa Zoro, Nico Robin, Nami, and Enel himself. Oh, and it should also be stated that Luffy was still up and running, however, he wasn't included in this number as he was stuck inside a giant snake at the time. Despite being outnumbered, Enel swiftly disposed of everyone else with his devil fruit abilities, save—
That's fucking funny, dude. He also— minor, very, very minor Fishman Island spoilers. Just skip ahead 30 seconds and you'll get past it. He also was stuck inside of a fucking giant thing too.
Nami, who he invited to come with him. Although eventually Luffy catches up with them and confronts Enel on the Arc Maxim, a device intended to facilitate the destruction of the entirety of Skypiea. However, due to the whole being rubber thing, Enel's lightning strikes have no effect on Luffy whatsoever, which causes Enel to make this face. Despite that, Enel manages to trap Luffy's arm in a bowl of gold and send him flying off the Arc. However, this is far from the end, and Luffy struggles to make his way back to Enel, climbing up Giant Jack with a golden hand and everything. But right before the final showdown, it is time for a flashback, focusing on a figure that we've heard a lot about at this point, Mont Blanc Noland. 400 years ago, Noland was an explorer who made frequent trips into the Grand Line. And
bro, Noland was an absolute Chad. An absolute Chad.
He and Noland met and eventually befriended the Shandian tribe, becoming particularly close with the warrior Calgara, who showed Noland the city.
I take it back. I don't know if this is the worst arc out of like the core arcs, but like this is actually making me realize like how many good parts of this arc was in it. Who was the idiot in the chat that said that they skipped this arc? Your brain is broken. I need you to go see a therapist.
Of Gold. Now, of course, complications ensued, but they were resolved, and Noland left the island promising to return. And after Noland returned to his kingdom in North Blue, he regaled the king with tales of his expedition and was subsequently ordered to take him to the City of Gold.
And then it was gone! You liar! Kill him!
As well as the entire Shandian tribe had disappeared. The king, thinking that Noland was some sort of ancient troll, then had Noland arrested and executed, and was successful in forever branding him as Liar Noland.
I do love this, though. I love that, like, Noland actually looks like a Chad. Like, Noland looks like an absolute Chad. But in this, they make him look so derpy and dumb. Like, when they tell you the story, you see Noland, and you're like, oh, Noland the liar? Totally get it. This man looks like a fucked up Pinocchio with a stupid nut on his head. But nah, he a Chad, dude.
However, the truth of the matter, as stated before, is that part of Jaya was launched into the sky, and once settled into the clouds, the Shandian tribe was immediately—
I know. I'm sorry I paused again. I know. When you think about it, it would have been worse if Noland's kingdom found the Shandians. 150%. Because they would have straight Christopher Columbus their asses, dude. We've seen that in real life, all right? We know what happens. We know how that shit works. They would have got straight Christopher Columbus, bro. It would have been over.
attacked by the armies of Skypiea, and Tarogaro was slain in battle, with neither he nor Noland ever knowing the fate of one another. But back in modern day, Enel unleashed his ultimate technique that instantly destroyed Angel Island and threatens to consume the entirety of Skypiea itself. Luffy, assisted by Nami, then makes his way up to the Ark for one final shot at taking Enel down.
This is a really good background music too.
Firing a fearsome punch directly at Enel, which sends him flying into the Golden Bell of Shandora, causing it to ring for the first time in 400 years and defeating Enel. And back on Jaya, Noland's descendant Cricket hears this ringing, as well as sees the gigantic shadow cast by Luffy, and breaks down crying as his ancestors' words were finally confirmed to be true. In the aftermath of the battle, Garnfall reassumes his position as the god of Skypiea and begins working with the Shandian tribe to make Skypiea a place in which they can all live in peace. Prior to leaving the island, Robin discovers upon
I feel like this is one of the most important parts
weapons, this time
of this arc though, right here.
However, much to her surprise, another message is inscribed.
Weirdly enough, I might be wrong about this, to be honest. Other than Luffy, I think that Robin may be one of the most important characters in the entire, like, Straw Hat crew. Like, just in terms of, like, what she finds out.
In the ancient language from none other than the former pirate king, Gol D. Roger. And after reading this, Robin comes to the conclusion that the true history of the world will be found on Ruff Tell, the location in which Luffy must reach to become the next pirate king. The crew then departs Skypiea with a whole ton of gold acquired.
I don't remember that name being
back
told.
down to the Blue Sea in order to embark on their next adventure. Next time on Sagas in Minutes, we're going to be stepping into a rather dark chapter in One Piece history as the Straw Hats face their greatest challenge yet, both
prepare your anus
as we explore the turmoil of the Water 7 saga.
S-tier arc, dude.
This video and the
absolute S-tier arc.
Then please do consider donating.
Crocus said it? Okay.
Patreon,
oh, you're right. He did. That's why it's been a while.
Continues to make this channel possible. And if you'd like to see more videos like this but apply to other anime and manga series, then please do check out my second channel, New World Review, for all of your wider needs. And if you'd like to join the fun at any time, then please do head over to my Discord server, where a wide array of shenaniganry takes place on a daily basis. And finally, please do comment with your thoughts on the Sky Island saga. This has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time.
God. I really don't get it. I like his videos, man. I know a bunch of people like were shitting on his videos like last stream, especially on YouTube for some weird reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because he's a very popular YouTuber.
When we meet Cricket for the first time, he's pretty damn annoyed at his ancestor Noland for having forced him to live a rather undignified life because of his so-called lies. Although, personally, I'd be more annoyed at genetics for being forced to live with a giant chestnut on my head. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have some nuts on my head. That's some fucked up shit right there.